Fishing is full of surprises. While the thrill comes from hoping for a big catch, sometimes the unexpected strikes. Even the most seasoned fishermen can't predict what they'll pull from the depths, and some discoveries defy all imagination. Here are 20 of the most shocking finds ever made by fishermen. Number 20. iPhones in the ocean. It was a day like any other for a group of French fishermen, but what they found floating miles off the coast turned their usual catch into a viral sensation. They came across a container drifting aimlessly in the ocean, assumed to have fallen from a cargo ship. Naturally, their curiosity got the best of them. After managing to haul the container close enough, they tore through the cover and were stunned by what spilled out: iPhones. Yes, thousands of iPhones tumbling from the container and even falling into the water. The discovery, made in 2021, quickly became the stuff of legends among both fishermen and social media enthusiasts alike. Footage of the event went viral, capturing the shock and excitement of the crew as they watched the high-end gadgets pour from the container. However, as more viewers analyzed the video, some began to question whether these were actually iPhones. Upon closer inspection, some argued that the boxes contained tobacco products, not Apple's coveted devices. Regardless of the actual contents, the find was extraordinary. Containers like these, lost at sea, are part of the cargo spillage phenomenon that occurs when ships encounter storms or accidents. Items can range from cars to apparently electronics or perhaps just tobacco. Still, the initial reaction of the fishermen, thinking they had stumbled upon a fortune of iPhones, is unforgettable. Number 19. Extinct giant deer skull. In 2018, Raymond McElroy, a fisherman from Northern Ireland, while fishing in Loch Ness, captured on camera something that shocked the whole world. Initially, he thought he had caught a large stick due to the weight, but as he untangled the net, he found something far more remarkable: a deer skull with massive antlers. Rather than discarding the skull, Raymond took it home and reached out to the Ulster Museum to report his find. The museum staff were thrilled and quickly set about identifying the remains. It turned out that Raymond had uncovered a skull from the extinct species Megaloceros giganteus, also known as the giant deer. This species roamed parts of Eurasia and Africa approximately 15,000 years ago. Known for their enormous size, the antlers of these deer could span up to 4 meters across. Because of their impressive antlers, these creatures lived in open areas, as navigating through forests would have been nearly impossible. Raymond was understandably proud of his discovery, as it wasn't just any deer skull but a relic from a species that no longer walks the earth. Number 18. Double catch. In July 2019, a fisherman from Houston, Texas, named Chase McCrae had an unforgettable experience while fishing in Harris County. Expecting a normal day on the water, Chase was shocked when his line became unusually heavy. As he reeled in his catch, he discovered something rare: a snake tightly wrapped around the fish he had hooked. Not wanting to leave the fish at the mercy of the snake, Chase decided to intervene. Armed with a knife, he carefully freed the fish from the predator's grip and released it back into the water. The snake, bearing a few cuts from Chase's efforts, was also set free to slither back into the wild. The footage of the entire event quickly gained attention online due to the rarity of such a double catch. This unusual fishing experience was definitely a lucky break for the fish, and it left people wondering if such a rescue might ever happen again. Number 17. A fisherman's secret. In 2006, a Filipino fisherman found himself in the middle of a severe storm near Palawan Island. After waiting out the rough weather, he noticed something heavy had snagged his anchor. Curious, he dove into the water to investigate and stumbled upon an enormous mollusk. Inside, he found a pearl of staggering size. Instead of selling it right away, the fisherman took the massive pearl home and kept it hidden under his bed for 10 years. It wasn't until 2016, after a fire forced him to move, that he decided to take the pearl to a local tourism office. When the staff saw it, they were speechless. The pearl measured an incredible 66 centimeters in length, 30 centimeters in width, and weighed a whopping 34 kilograms, making it the largest pearl ever discovered. Today, this record-breaking treasure is displayed in Puerto Princesa, where visitors can admire its beauty. Experts have estimated that the pearl's value exceeds $100 million, a shocking fortune from what started as a simple fishing trip. Number 16. The rarest lobster. Jeff Edwards, a fisherman from Maine, made an unbelievable catch during one of his trips: a lobster with a striking and rare coloration. At first glance, you might think the pictures are edited, but they're 100% real. This lobster is colored half red and half black, with the colors split perfectly down the middle. It's the kind of sight that could mesmerize anyone, especially those who love symmetry. But Jeff isn't the only lucky fisherman in Maine. Another rare catch came from Jacob Knowles, who pulled in a lobster with a stunning blue and green shell. To add to its uniqueness, this lobster was a hermaphrodite, possessing both male and female organs. Scientists from a research institute in Portland explained that these unique color patterns are caused by a genetic anomaly known as chimerism. It's a rare occurrence, with only 1 in 50 million lobsters displaying such a two-tone division down their body. Both Jeff and Jacob can truly call themselves lucky for stumbling upon these incredibly rare creatures. Now it's time for today's topic. In October 2025, the longline vessel Daiki Maru was operating 90 miles off the coast of Choshi, Japan, when Captain Hiroshi Tanaka felt an unnatural resistance on the main line. What surfaced hours later stunned the seasoned crew. An enormous great white shark, far larger than typical Pacific specimens, its body covered in deep, jagged scars. Marine researcher Dr. Kenji Watanabe from the University of Tokyo later examined footage recorded by deckhand Ryo Sato. The wounds were fresh, massive, and unlike injuries caused by propellers or nets. One mark measured nearly a meter across. No known predator in these waters leaves damage like that, Watanabe admitted during a closed press briefing. The implication was chilling. Something powerful enough to attack a giant great white was moving in Japan's deep Pacific waters, and it had not been identified. Number 15. Fish tornado. A rare and mesmerizing sight for any fisherman is the fish tornado, a natural phenomenon where thousands of fish come together to form a swirling, tornado-like figure in the water. As the fish swim in tight circles, their school sometimes stretches out and sometimes gathers into a dense, massive ball. But why do they do this? The main reason is protection. By swimming together in this formation, the fish create confusion for predators, making it difficult for them to focus on a single target. However, some predators have learned to outsmart this defense. They dive straight into the center of the swirling school, forcing the fish to break apart into smaller, more manageable groups. Interestingly, not all fish use this tactic solely for defense. Species like yellowfin tuna have turned the fish tornado into a hunting strategy. They surround their prey, trapping it at the center of the school and leaving it with no escape. This coordinated behavior showcases just how intelligent marine life can be when it comes to survival and hunting strategies. Number 14. Encounter with a turtle. The vastness of the ocean still holds countless mysteries. With more than 70% of our planet covered by water, yet only 5% of it has been explored so far, leaving plenty of surprises beneath the surface. One recent encounter took place at the Great Barrier Reef, where a diver stumbled upon something extraordinary. A giant green turtle that could easily be compared to the size of a small car. This enormous creature, believed to be over 100 years old, left the diver in complete awe. It's not every day you come across a living relic of the ocean's history. The average lifespan of a green turtle is about 80 years, but some individuals, like this one, have been known to surpass the century mark. Turtles are among the longest living creatures on the planet, with some species, like the Galapagos tortoise, living for an astonishing 177 years. Number 13. Giant goldfish. When you think of goldfish, you probably imagine the tiny ones swimming around in aquariums, barely growing beyond 3 centimeters. But what if I told you goldfish can get much, much bigger? Meet the carrot, one of the largest goldfish ever caught, and this story will definitely surprise you. Professional angler Andy Hackett made headlines when he reeled in this massive goldfish at a fishing farm in Champagne, France. Weighing an astounding 30.5 kilograms, the carrot stands out with her bright orange color. This giant beauty is a hybrid of a leather carp and a koi carp, and she's no ordinary fish. According to the farm's manager, Jason Cowler, the carrot has been living in the pond for around 20 years, after being released as a small fry. Andy had always heard stories about the carrot swimming in the pond, but he never thought he'd be the one to catch her. After a tough 25-minute struggle, Andy finally brought the gigantic fish to the surface. But in a heartwarming twist, he released the carrot back into the water after taking a few memorable photos. The carrot currently holds the record as the largest goldfish ever caught, surpassing the previous record of 17 kilograms set in 2019 in Minnesota. Number 12. Faceless fish. During a deep-sea exploration off the coast of Australia, scientists made a truly bizarre discovery, something that seems to defy the very idea of what a fish should look like. Meet the faceless fish, a creature that roams the ocean depths, far removed from the sunlit waters we're used to. Living in the crushing darkness of the abyss, where the pressure is intense and light barely penetrates, this strange species lacks the facial features we typically associate with marine life. The faceless fish, also known as a faceless cusk eel, grows up to 46 centimeters in length. What's truly remarkable is its appearance. It has no visible eyes, just a smooth, bulging head that propels it through the depths. These fish thrive in waters as deep as 13,000 to 16,300 feet, where conditions are extreme. Their tiny eyes are almost invisible, and their mouths are so small it's hard to believe they can eat. Number 11. Sailors sailing through rocks. In August 2019, Australian sailors Michael Holt and Lissa Brill had an encounter they would never forget. As they sailed their catamaran toward Fiji, they found themselves navigating through something completely unexpected, a massive floating raft of pumice stretching over 1,600 feet. This wasn't your typical smooth sailing. The dense raft of pumice stones, ranging from the size of marbles to basketballs, slowed their boat to a crawl. The sea was eerie, especially with the moon's reflection nowhere to be seen, making it feel as though they were gliding over a solid surface. But what exactly was this strange floating mass? Pumice is a lightweight, porous rock formed during volcanic eruptions. The molten rocks from these eruptions cool quickly and become porous, allowing them to float. While rare, pumice rafts do occasionally occur in the Pacific, typically forming once every 5 years. However, this particular raft was one of the largest ever recorded, covering an area the size of over 20,000 football fields. Though sailing through it was surreal, Michael and Lissa's encounter was a reminder of just how dynamic and unpredictable our oceans can be. Next time you see what looks like floating cement on the water surface, it might just be nature's way of showing off one of its volcanic wonders. Number 10. Fisherman captures living dinosaur. In 2022, a fisherman in Canada made an unforgettable catch that could be loosely described as a living dinosaur. While not an actual dinosaur, this creature is one of the closest living relatives of the prehistoric beasts that roamed our planet millions of years ago. Yves Bisson was fishing in the Fraser River when he reeled in a 10.5-foot-long white sturgeon. These massive fish are not only the largest freshwater species in North America, but they also have an ancient lineage that dates back over 200 million years. With a history stretching that far, white sturgeons are often called living fossils. These remarkable creatures can grow to more than 20 feet in length and live for over 100 years. After successfully catching the sturgeon, Bisson and his team carefully measured and tagged it before safely releasing it back into the river. Tagging efforts like these are crucial for conserving the sturgeon population, allowing scientists to track their movements and monitor their numbers. Seeing a white sturgeon up close is a rare and awe-inspiring experience. Number 9. Fish with a human face. Fishing can be unpredictable, but nothing prepared one man in Thailand for the bizarre creature he pulled from the water. A fisherman named Prehistoric, who regularly fished in Krabi province, came face to face with something that left him completely terrified. As he reeled in his catch on this day, a strange and unsettling fish emerged, a sight so frightening that Prehistoric abandoned it on the shore and ran home to tell his family. After calming down, Prehistoric returned to inspect the fish. By then, the creature had already died. Measuring 42 centimeters in length and weighing nearly 3 kilograms, the fish was a disturbing sight. It had a small body, but its large head and human-like face made it look more like a creature from nightmares than a regular fish. To make things even weirder, it had a wide, gaping mouth. The villagers were quick to label the fish as an omen of bad luck, convinced that it was an embodiment of evil. However, scientists stepped in to clarify the mystery. The strange creature was actually a stargazer fish. These odd-looking fish are known for their large heads, which help them burrow into the sand while they wait to ambush prey. Though their appearance can be unsettling, stargazers are a natural part of both shallow and deep waters. Number 8. Fisherman claims to have discovered the wing of missing plane. On the 8th of March 2014, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 mysteriously vanished while en route from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to Beijing, China. The plane, carrying 12 crew members and 227 passengers, disappeared without a trace. For over a decade, the fate of MH370 has remained one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. But recently, a retired Australian fisherman named Kit Olver claimed he may have stumbled upon a critical clue. In late 2014, just months after the plane's disappearance, Olver was fishing off the coast of southern Australia near the town of Robe. While trolling the waters, his net got caught on something massive. Struggling to bring it to the surface, Olver and his crew spotted what they described as the great wing of a large jet airliner. The debris was so heavy and awkward that it tore their $20,000 fishing net apart. Shaken by the encounter, Olver reported the find to the Australian Maritime Safety Authority. However, officials dismissed his report, suggesting that the debris could have come from a shipping container rather than the missing aircraft. Despite this, Olver stood by his claim, convinced he had found part of the wreckage of MH370. Crew member George Curry also backed up the story, recalling the intense effort it took to haul the wing-like object from the ocean. Even with Olver providing the exact coordinates of his discovery, roughly 35 miles west of Robe, authorities chose not to follow up on his lead. Now, the mystery of MH370 continues, leaving the world still searching for answers about what happened to the flight and the people on board. Number 7. Live grenade. Toby Scott, an electrician from Bath, Somerset, has a rather unusual hobby: magnet fishing. Instead of catching fish, Toby searches for metal objects hidden underwater using a strong magnet. For Christmas 2020, his friends gave him a powerful neodymium magnet, and just 2 days later, on December 27th, he decided to test it out with his friend Elliot at the Kennet and Avon Canal. At first, their catches were nothing too exciting. A toy car mechanism emerged from the water. But on the next cast, things took a dangerous turn. Toby reeled in a live grenade from World War II. Realizing the serious danger, they immediately contacted the police. The area was quickly sealed off, and for the next 3 hours, experts carefully dealt with the situation. They cut the fishing line and safely removed the grenade for proper disposal. Understandably, Toby was left shaken by the experience. While magnet fishing usually turns up harmless scrap, this shocking discovery made him rethink whether to continue the hobby or switch back to traditional fishing. It's not every day you reel in something with the potential to explode. Number 6. Living tongue. In 2021, Don Marks, an African student, decided to spend some time fishing along the Atlantic shores near Cape Agulhas. He picked what looked like a perfect spot, hoping for a good catch, and his first catch didn't disappoint: a 3-kilogram red snapper. But what caught Don off guard wasn't the size of the fish, it was what he found inside its mouth. While removing the hook, to his horror, instead of the snapper's tongue, there was a creepy, alien-like creature latched onto the fish's mouth. Having fished since childhood, Don had never seen anything like it. Confused and shocked, he snapped a photo and sent it to his biologist friend, Nico Smith, hoping for an explanation. The answer was just as disturbing as the discovery itself. Nico informed him that the creature was a parasitic isopod, a species known for replacing the tongues of fish. These blood-sucking parasites gradually consume a fish's tongue, leaving it without one. Then they permanently attach themselves to the fish's mouth, taking over the role of the missing organ. Even more bizarre is the fact that these isopods are the only parasites known to completely replace their host's organ, functioning just like the fish's original tongue. They even help the fish hold its prey, making them an essential, though terrifying, part of the fish's anatomy. Removing these parasites isn't easy either. They attach so firmly to the fish's mouth that they're nearly impossible to detach without causing harm. Number 5. Herring King. In June 2015, fishermen off the coast of Santa Catalina Island, California, caught a fish so long and strange that it took 16 people to haul it ashore. While locals are used to seeing various marine life wash up after storms, this was a first. What they pulled in looked like something out of a myth, a fish resembling a sea serpent. The creature was later identified as a herring king, also known as an oarfish. This particular specimen measured an impressive 5 meters, which naturally attracted a crowd of curious onlookers and even some press coverage. The herring king typically inhabits the deep waters of the Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic Oceans, living at depths between 500 and 700 meters. These fish are the longest bony fish ever studied, usually growing up to 3 meters on average, but the largest ever recorded stretched to an incredible 11 meters and weighed 272 kilograms. Annie Macaulay, founder of the nonprofit organization Mountain and Sea Adventures, said it was the first time she had ever seen a herring king in her 20 years on the island, highlighting just how rare it is to spot one of these elusive creatures washed ashore. Number 4. Space rocket debris. In mid-November 2022, a Filipino fisherman found a large, mysterious metallic object while out at sea. When the Coast Guard arrived to investigate, they quickly identified the object as debris from a Chinese rocket. It was from the Long March 5B rocket, which had been launched earlier that year to deploy the Mengtian module to a multi-module space station. However, after completing its mission, the rocket stage entered an uncontrolled descent, eventually falling near the islands of Palawan and Muro in the Philippines. This marked the 4th time debris from a Chinese rocket had re-entered Earth's atmosphere in an unpredictable manner. In a previous incident in 2020, pieces of rocket debris landed near a settlement in the Ivory Coast, thankfully without causing injuries. This most recent event caught the attention of NASA, leading to increased monitoring of future Chinese rocket launches. The unpredictability of these uncontrolled descents poses a significant risk to human life, especially if debris were to fall directly on populated areas. Number 3. Virgin Mary Statue. In June 2020, a Spanish fisherman made an unexpected discovery while out on the Sar River in northwestern Spain. What he first thought was just a moss-covered rock turned out to be something far more significant, a centuries-old statue of the Virgin Mary. Believed to date back to the 14th or 15th century, the statue was surprisingly well-preserved despite spending so much time underwater. As he pulled it from the shallow current, Layers of algae and river sediment slowly peeled away, revealing delicate folds in the carved robes beneath. The weight and craftsmanship immediately told him this was no ordinary object lost by a careless passerby. Word of the discovery spread quickly through the small riverside community, drawing curious onlookers eager to glimpse the relic before officials arrived. Some locals whispered that the statue may have been hidden intentionally during times of religious conflict, possibly to protect it from destruction. Others speculated it could have been swept away during a long-forgotten flood that reshaped the riverbank centuries ago. The Pochitaserra River, usually known only for its calm beauty, suddenly became the center of historical intrigue. For a brief moment, it felt as though the past had surfaced quite literally, demanding to be remembered. After the discovery, the fishermen alerted local authorities, who quickly involved the regional archaeological team. Experts from the Museum of Pilgrimage in Santiago de Compostela confirmed that the statue was indeed a religious sculpture of the Virgin Mary holding the child Jesus. Sadly, the faces of both figures were missing. Even with its missing features, this statue remains one of the most important finds in the region. Number 2. Ugly creature. Imagine spending a peaceful weekend on the water, only to reel in something straight out of a nightmare. That's exactly what happened to a New Yorker named Eric Kaczynski, who frequently goes fishing with his son. On this particular day, they were fishing at Lake Champlain, expecting to catch trout. Instead, they pulled up a strange and eerie creature from the depths. This monster measured about 50 centimeters long and had a bizarre appearance that was somewhere between an eel and a leech. As the creature writhed at the end of the line, its slick, serpentine body twisting in the sunlight, Eric's son reportedly took a step back in pure disbelief. The fish's circular, suction cup mouth opened and closed rhythmically, revealing rows of jagged teeth arranged like a living drill designed to bore into flesh. Other anglers nearby paused to stare, unsure whether they were witnessing an undiscovered species or something that had crawled out of a horror film. For a moment, Eric admitted he wondered if the lake was hiding far more ancient and unsettling secrets beneath its calm surface. The unsettling encounter transformed what had begun as a relaxing father and son outing into a story that would be retold at family gatherings for years to come. Even more unsettling was its massive mouth, crammed with sharp teeth. Eric, both shocked and curious, snapped a photo and posted it online. Quickly, the mystery was solved. It was a sea lamprey. Sea lampreys are parasitic creatures that thrive in rivers, lakes, and even seas. They latch onto other fish and suck their blood, but they aren't picky. Scientists have even found bones, fins, and internal organs of fish in their stomachs, proving they are true predators. Though lampreys are considered a delicacy in some countries, no one dares cultivate them due to the harm they cause to other fish populations. It's safe to say Eric's catch was one he won't forget anytime soon. Number 1. Man has collected over 1,200 messages in bottles. In 2017, an extraordinary story came to light about a dedicated beachcomber from the Netherlands named Wim Kruisweg. Over the span of 34 years, Wim has collected an astonishing 1,200 messages in bottles, a hobby he's been passionate about since 1983. It all started when Wim found 3 bottles washed up on the shores of Zandvoort, each containing letters with return addresses. After receiving replies from all 3 senders, his fascination with this unique form of communication was born, and he has been scouring the beaches ever since. What makes Wim's story even more remarkable is the sheer unpredictability of his finds, as some bottles have traveled hundreds or even thousands of miles before landing at his feet. He has discovered notes written by children on school trips, lonely sailors crossing vast oceans, and even researchers testing ocean currents with carefully dated letters. On several occasions, he formed lasting friendships with the strangers who had tossed their hopes into the sea, exchanging follow-up letters that turned chance encounters into meaningful connections. Some messages arrived faded and water-stained, forcing Wim to gently dry and decipher them like delicate historical artifacts rescued from time itself. For Wim, each bottle represents more than driftwood and glass. It is a tangible reminder that even in an age of instant messaging, human curiosity and longing for connection still find their way across the waves. Wim mainly finds these bottles along the coast of the Dutch islands, a region known for frequent wash-ups of oceanic debris. Over the years, however, the number of bottles he's found annually has dropped from around 50 to 20 or 30, likely due to cleaner beaches and the rise of digital communication, which has replaced the need for handwritten messages sent across the sea. The messages in his collection range from simple greetings and personal stories to scientific experiments and heartfelt notes. Each bottle tells a unique tale, and Wim has made it his mission to respond to nearly every single one. He carefully preserves these messages in plastic folders and keeps the most special bottles, like ornamental ones or test tubes, as part of his one-of-a-kind collection. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.